Hello, and welcome to episode 196 of Checkpoint Chat. My name is Alessandro Barbosa. I'm joined, as always, by Matthew Figuera.
Sporting Ferrari red, because we love Ferrari on this podcast. JK, we don't
speak
even
for yourself.
I just want to say, so for audio listeners, we're both wearing red, unplanned, but Alessandro's trying to outdo me because he's wearing the most vivid red in existence.
You know what? I think that's actually the camera. I think there's some saturation setting on my webcam that is, because I can tell as well. Mine's just popping, but it looks like that
just
fake
glowing,
popping red.
Like, damn, okay. Mine looks so faded.
Nah. It's definitely the webcam doing something there. Although when I look at my preview window in Discord and compare it to what you're streaming to me, it looks very different. So maybe you're pumping up.
Maybe I'm pumping up the saturation. You're right, or maybe it's just Discord being full of.
It actually could just be Discord. Like in the compression, it's just like adding.
Just dial up the saturation to like 90%. It's cool.
It really does. Like in my preview window. I mean, it's vibrant, but it's not that vibrant. Like the live view is like when you go to a store and they have the TVs on like maximum fucking saturation, you're like, damn, that grass is so green. Also, grass never looks like that in real life. You know, that sort of
It does in other countries because you know what they say. The grass is
that's what they
always
say.
greener.
The grass is always sickly neon greener.
Well, I'll say to those
side.
people, go to your nearest Incredible Connection, look at those TVs and tell me the grass isn't greener in your nearest RT store.
Those demo videos are always so wild. They're just like, check at this green grass, check at these red cherries, look at this yellow honey.
It's situations that never exist. Like, why? Why is there a close-up of cherries on like a wooden table on an ocean?
And it's literally a mode on the TV now. It's called like demo mode, and it just cranks up everything. It's just like saturation 100, brightness 100. Like it's like, here, let me display this TV in a mode you would never watch TV at because it would look so fucking bad.
You should be that person that when you have people over to show off your new TV, you have those videos playing on loop. Like, oh, hey, welcome. A long time no see. Have a seat. Wow, look at that grass.
So beautiful. Can we watch Netflix on you? No, never.
How
dare you?
Hand them a bowl of popcorn and just sit and stare at the screen.
Yeah. So this loops every 10 minutes. We can be here for hours.
I haven't left the house for 4 days. It's been bliss.
I've just been watching this. My cats are fascinated by it.
I've been watching grass. Wow, look how green it is. Those cherries, amazing.
They told me to touch grass after playing Elden Ring. I chose to watch it instead.
Wow.
I only really it was probably only yesterday where I understood where that whole touch grass thing came from because I got to a site of grace and it says touch grace and I was like,
oh, is that where it comes from?
Yeah.
No way.
I mean, I saw that and I was like, surely that's where it comes from because touch grace, touch grass.
I always just thought it's a thing of like, hey, you spend
go outside.
You're such a hardcore gamer, for goodness sake, go outside and touch some grass. But now touch some grass,
Yeah, it was like touch grass. I was like, that can't be a coincidence that it's like cropped hilarious. Up so like hectically from with Elden Ring.
Also, then if you tell people
you should touch grass. I mean, you've finished Elden Ring 3 times. But if you definitely go touch some grass.
That's what I'm getting at. If you tell people to touch grass, are you telling them to play Elden Ring, or you telling them to touch IRL grass, or you just saying play Elden Ring with an accent? Touch grass.
Touch grass. Put the little apostrophe on the E so it becomes like French or something. Grass.
We'll tell it's grass.
Is there... You got the platinum for it, right?
I did, yeah.
Is there a trophy for getting all the sites of grace?
No.
Yeah, because there's so many of them. Like
that game is so... here we go. We're talking about Elden Ring again. We missed a few weeks, but it's cool. I mean, I've played the game 3 times now, right? So the third time, like quote unquote, doesn't really count because that was me just speeding through the game, going to the key bosses, key areas, whatever. But that second time I played, I found so much shit I'd missed, and it blew my mind because the first time I played the game, I tried to be thorough. Like I tried to make sure I ticked off all of that map, fought as many bosses as I could. And then sometimes just on my second playthrough, I was just running through an area like, oh, there's a mine there. I've never seen that before, and fights a completely new boss. Like, damn, how did I miss that? It's late. Yeah. There's just too much shit in that game. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've let go of like missing things because I think I held on to that a lot in the first like 20 hours, and it was driving me insane. I think once you let go of that need to see everything, the game becomes a lot better.
I think you can do it in broad strokes, right? Like if you know you unlock a new part of the map, you can slap down a couple of markers, all over the map, and that's cool. But don't run along a mountain and checking every centimeter, because then you're just gonna drive yourself crazy.
Especially because a lot of those like dungeons, you get a lot of them in Limgrave, but at least I feel like I'm not getting as many of those in later sections. But they're also the least interesting part of the game. Like at the beginning, you're like, oh cool, there's these little mini dungeons and each of them ends with the boss. But like now I'm just like, oh, okay, this mini dungeon's the same fucking thing with the same fucking enemies. It's just a boss at the end that's different. Like,
or they've like palette swapped it all, just moved some things around.
It's always those stupid stone gargoyles that just jump on my head. Like I don't want to deal with them. Like it's fine. Like so. But
you get some good bosses down there sometimes.
You do get some good ones. You get some utterly infuriating ones. But that's also where you start seeing them repeating bosses. Because, of course, they have to. Like, there's no way.
There's too many.
They're going to design a new boss for every single one of these dungeons. Like, that's too insane to expect. Yeah. Elden Ring, still good. I'm still chipping away at it. Good Lord. Maybe by the end of 2050, I will finish it.
Like, I got the platinum. Finally. At last.
At that point, Elden Ring 3 is out already,
God damn.
Elden Rings.
Elden Rings with proper multiplayer.
Will that be the second one? Elden Rings? And then the third one will be Elden Ring Tokyo Drift?
Oh, no. To Elden to Ring.
To Elden to Ring. Elden Ring Tokyo Drift. And then the fourth one is just Elden Ring again because numbers have no meaning.
No, the eighth one is just Elden 8. That's it.
And then eventually when we get to the eighth one, it's just Elden, because...
Of course.
Yeah. God, I cannot believe they called one of the movies just like... Oh, I think it's the upcoming one. It's just called Fast 10. Like, not Fast and Furious, just Fast 10.
Well, you know what?
Okay.
They should have called it F10. Perfect.
People need to fast 10 their seatbelts when driving.
Oh, no. Ow, that hurts me. It hit me in the soul.
That's what happens when I've turned 30 and now I'm allowed to commit dad joke crimes all the time.
Took actual hit points there in real life.
You got to be careful. You can't facepalm too hard now in your age because you'll just throw your neck out. So
getting old, man.
How is your neck, by the way? Is it recovered?
It's doing better, yeah.
Last week's podcasting incident.
It was 2 weeks ago now, yeah. So for those of you who don't know, this is how I know I'm getting old. I don't know if I ever spoke about this, but so 2 weeks ago, we finished recording. I edited the video and I stood up. And just that act, I pulled something in my neck. It was agony. It was very sore. And only now, like, so Lenska keeps checking and saying, like, how's your neck doing? And I said, if that Saturday was 100% pain, I'm at like 5%. Like, it's not quite better. There's something, well, it's almost better, but there's still like a little bit of something's just not 100% there. So
see, Matthew touched grass.
A lot of
pain.
It's a trap. Don't touch grass. Stay inside. Sit down.
Yeah, stay inside. Never touch grass.
Actually, sit down. Never stand up.
Never stand up.
Standing up's what'll get you.
Actually, just never get out of bed.
Never.
Like, just lay there until death comes to take you.
My goodness.
That's it.
Strap a Steam Deck into your hand or a Switch, and that's how you game.
Not even. Get one of those little like bendy things so it just like sits above your face.
I'd love to get one of those because it'd be so great to just lie back and just
I think good friend of the show, Brett.
Yeah, he had one, right? He had a...
UDF Tech? UFD Tech? Okay, now I need to check because I need to...
You're going to butcher that. It's UFD.
I always mess up the...
I think it's
UFD Tech. Okay.
Yeah.
I apologize. On YouTube, very good channel. Go check him out. But yeah, I remember he did a video of his like bedroom setup where he had that, and then he also had like one of those like portable monitors that he put up on like a like arm. So, and it was connected to his PS4 at the time. So he was playing like Final Fantasy Remake in bed with this like monitor.
Goddamn.
Living the dream.
The actual dream.
Yep.
I'd love that.
Yep.
If I could just chill in bed and just look up at something and play, the best.
Would be great. I mean, it would help. I played a lot of when we had load shedding. I played a lot of Metroid Dread in bed, and let me tell you, it only takes a good 1 hour for your hands to be like, "This is fucking horrible. I do not want to do this for much longer." So,
yep,
yeah.
Time to be alive.
Anyway, speaking of Metroid Dread and Elden Ring and breaking your neck, video games. We talk about them every now and then on this podcast, even in the preamble, it seems.
We just talk about Elden Ring always. It's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It is the only game. What else is there?
What else has come out this year?
There's a bunch of stuff that has been coming out over the past weeks, and we're finally catching up on some of that stuff. One of the biggest releases in recent memory definitely has to be Powerwash Simulator. No, I'm joking. Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
I mean, you were going there, and I was ready for
Xenoblade Chronicles 3 out on Nintendo Switch now.
Yeah, that launched.
I know it came out about a week ago. We only got
think.
code this week, and then Matthew only started chipping away at the next great anime last night. So this is a very brief introduction to Xenoblade
let me
Chronicles
set this
3.
up by saying that good guy Umar on Twitter described. So he got it on launch, and I think he's played.
Man is the biggest JRPG
35
fan.
Hours, yeah. I don't know where this dude finds time for every JRPG he plays.
Man has a child and still manages to outpace us on games.
It's insane. He described, remember, he's 30 plus hours in Xenoblade. He's loving the heck out of it. He described it as Elden Ring for weebs. And I'm like, damn.
Let's go.
Let's go. So just for a bit of context, Xenoblade originally launched, the first one launched on the Wii many moons ago.
Holy shit, was it the Wii? I thought it was the Wii U.
Yep. So it launched
the very first one. Holy
on the
crap.
Wii, and then I think it was ported to the 3DS at some stage, and then
the new 3DS. Yeah,
and then it was remastered for Switch. I think it is either last year or the year before.
Ago. Yeah,
I can't quite remember, but that was
the Wii U had Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Probably, yeah.
Which was that one set in the far future or some shit like that.
I don't know. I've only played the first one, so I don't know what follow. I know there's a second one, and I think there's X, but
so yeah, where did the second one come out on? Must have been on Switch, surely.
Wii U as well.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna look this up.
So my first touch point with this whole beloved Nintendo JRPG franchise was actually on the Switch, because I played the remaster of the first one. And I rolled credits on it because I enjoyed it. So it took, I don't know, it's maybe 60, 70 hours if I were to hazard a guess. Really, really great JRPG. It's super addictive, big. And while I played it, I kept thinking this was a Wii game. Like, this must have blown people away back in the day, because it felt, I guess the easiest way for me to me, what I could describe it as, it felt like an MMO, but that was single player, if that makes sense. It's like this huge open world where lots of places to go, lots of side quests, lots of enemies, but it was a single player experience. And it was, really cool. I enjoyed it. I've missed all the other stuff that came. I haven't bothered looking up 2 or X, whatever. So diving into 3, I have just the knowledge of the first game as my
which,
foundation.
As far as I can tell,
I think it doesn't matter.
There's a lot of people there's a lot of people, a lot of things I've seen where it's like you can play 3 without having played any of the previous ones. You obviously get a lot more if you have that context, but it's not like you absolutely need to know.
I think there's always like there's like a basis to this world. Because now, so having just started 3, I recognize like, oh, of course there's humans and there's other races, which I now recognize. I'm like, oh, it's obviously these people and that race, whatever. But yeah, I can't tell you that at any point a character looks to the camera and says, damn, I can't believe Shulk did this. Like referencing the first game. Like there's none of that as far as I know. At least not yet.
I didn't know that Xenoblade Chronicles was part of the same series as Xenogears. I'm just reading.
I didn't know that either.
As you're talking here. Yeah, so the Xenoblade Chronicles is part of that thing, and Xenogears is obviously a PlayStation JRPG that Square Enix worked on, and then Xenosaga, and then Xenoblade Chronicles.
That's so interesting. But then I suppose
they're very different games, like.
But also maybe Nintendo obviously has the right to the Xenoblade.
It must be, yeah. At some point, Square Enix must have just sold this property because, I mean, Xenogears was... I mean, this is wild to me. It says here, Xenogears was originally proposed as a storyline for Final Fantasy VII, as well as a sequel for Chrono Trigger.
What?
But developed as its own project. After Square Enix shifted focus to Final Fantasy, Takahashi and several Xenogears staff founded Monolith Soft, which are the developers to work on the Xenosaga game. Interesting. Wow. I didn't realize it had such a history. I always thought Xenoblade Chronicles was the first of its thing, but Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is the 7th entry. No? Yeah, the 8th entry in the series.
I mean, and the first Xenoblade came out in like the mid-2000s, I think.
Xenoblade Chronicles 1 was 2010 on the Wii.
So, okay, it was 2010.
Yeah, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was in the same year as the launch of the Nintendo Switch, so it was early on Switch. So they've been pumping these out with pace. Okay, lately.
So that's. But then where does X come in? Was that a Wii U
X
thing?
was 2015 on Wii U. Yeah, and I know X was almost like a spin-off. Like it doesn't really connect to Chronicles.
Okay, I had no idea 2 was a Switch thing. I just assumed that was somewhere before Switch, and I've just missed it.
No, it was 2017, and then the remaster of the first one for Switch came out in 2020, so 2 years ago. Yeah.
Damn.
So you've got the core trilogy of Chronicles on
Switch now.
Yeah, on Switch now. That's cool.
Well, there's your history lesson.
So in the first hour, how much playing do you actually do?
Like 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. So it's a JRPG. That makes sense. Yeah.
You got to watch some cutscenes and some cinematics, and then they'll handhold you through a quick tutorial, and you do some fights, and then they show you more cutscenes and more cinematics.
What is the combat system sort of like? Is it like whenever I see it, I just see loads of little like action bars everywhere.
So yeah,
lots
I don't know
effects,
how this has changed to the first one. I mean, I'm obviously not that deep into it yet, but it's an interesting combat system in that your party auto attacks, right? And you just have abilities that you cast, between all these auto attacks. And it's about as simple as that.
Oh, so your character auto attacks as well, not just your party.
Yeah,
okay, got it.
So you literally run up to an enemy, and if your character's wielding a sword, for example, your character will just wave that sword every 3 seconds, let's call it. And then in between those attacks, or on top of those attacks, you can start casting like, I've got an ability that slams the ground, which does AoE damage. I've got an attack that pierces, for example. But what's quite interesting is how they vary it up. Is that you have an attack that is only effective if you're standing behind the enemy. So you have to move to stand behind the enemy, then use. It's called arts, or like weapon arts. So you go stand behind the enemy and use that specific weapon art that is only effective when you attack from behind the enemy. You've got weapon arts.
So even though they're attacking automatically, you're still controlling their positioning.
Yeah, you're controlling the positioning, and you adding attacks on top of that, so that makes sense.
Yes.
So you've got attacks that also, only are effective if you attack from the side of the enemy. So like that's how they keep you, it's not just you sitting back and going like, cool, I'm just going to push buttons. You're like, it does.
I mean, I've heard the combat in all of these games is quite in depth. It's not like run of the mill.
I mean, so on the first one, again, like I love my JRPGs, but I don't get too deep into them. I'm min-maxing, like really, reading guides and, optimizing my party. I'm just there for I'm just there for the weep goodness.
Press X
the
to win.
cutscenes. But yeah, so when I first played Xenoblade, it was a bit of a weird thing for me, because I was like, nothing comes to memory where I've played a JRPG where I literally just stand. But again, that's why I always think of an MMO, because I've played MMOs where you run up to a group of enemies and you just spamming your spells, for example.
Yeah,
so that's
hitting
why
that hotbar, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I feel like there's a lot of similarity to that, but you're incentivized to position yourself, accordingly. And then obviously as you get further into the game, you start unlocking different weapon arts. So if you can only equip, I'm thumb sucking this because I don't know in 3, if you can only equip 4 weapon arts, for example, you've got, let's say you've got access to 10. You now need to choose how to build your character, which weapon arts do you want to have equipped. And then you obviously have to do that across a whole party of characters, because you might not be controlling every party member. You can only control one at a time. Your other allies will still be casting their spells or doing their things.
And how big is a party? Is it 4 people?
I don't know in this game. I think in the first one, it was 3 or 4. It was just, I played like 2 years ago. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Nice.
It was 3 or 4.
And so everything's happening in real time. Is there the ability to like pause and take like?
No, it's all
no. Okay, so
it's all real time as far as I know. So you need to cast your spell. It's not like Final Fantasy VII Remake where
that's what I was thinking. I was thinking it was almost like a combination of Final Fantasy 15 and 7 Remake, where it's like you have your party auto attacking and you just tell them when to fire off certain spells.
Yeah, I suppose you could look at it that way, but you can't. Can you switch party members on the fly? I can't remember, but you can't.
Well, in 15 you can't. So.
No, I'm talking in Xenoblade now. But yeah, you can't pause time. It's all real time.
Interesting.
But yeah, I'm very, very, very keen to sink my teeth into 3, and I know these games are big. So like if the first one was that big, and I compare it, I liken it to an MMO on the Wii, like a single player MMO on the Wii. It's 3 I think is going to be very long, but I'm very excited to dig into it, because
I was listening to GameSpot's podcast After Dark, and video producer there, Jake Decker, was saying, well, he reviewed it for them. He played over 120 hours, something like that, to get to credits. So he loved it. So yeah, I think you're in for a good time. I think this one, from what I can tell anecdotally, is like 2 really rubbed some people the wrong way, because it went like really into anime fan servicey stuff, and kind of lost the plot with the actual JRPG elements.
And this is sort of goes back to its roots.
It finds the balance again.
Okay.
So yeah, I think again, just seeing how people have reacted to this seems far more in line with 1, and is for a lot of people like a Game of the Year contender. So.
Yeah. So very keen.
Yeah, very, very keen to hear you continue, because like I was interested in the first Xenoblade Chronicles when it launched, because I think it had a really cool style and whatever. And but then the hours on this game are what just they throw me. And this is coming from someone who put 110 hours into Persona 5. Like, sure, but that took me 2 years. Like, genuinely took me 2 years to finish that. So these games are not games I usually gravitate towards just because of the investment.
Yeah,
like,
it's
there's
funny
something about 3 that is like,
No, but it's funny because I'll turn around and be like, if it wasn't on Switch, I'd never get 100 hours. But I've put how many hours into Elden Ring and Monster Hunter?
Yeah.
Monster Hunter on PC.
This game looks fucking great though as well.
Yeah, like, so I mean, based on the trailers, like I haven't gotten to, these lovely big vistas that you can run around in. But I do remember when it was revealed, it was like, this is running on the Switch.
It looks real good.
It looks too good to be on Switch. So I'm quite keen to see how it actually plays.
We'll get to it in news, but like, this is why I get really mad at Pokemon, because you're running on the same hardware as Xenoblade Chronicles 3. There is no excuse for Pokemon to look that bad. Like, I'm sorry, Pokemon visually, like mechanically, gameplay, whatever, visually looks bad. like really, really bad.
It feels, let's save it for news because I've also got some stuff to say there.
Jesus, when you put those two together, they look like they come from different generations of console.
They do.
Like
100% they do.
And they're coming out in the same year on the same hardware. Like,
yeah, I must actually, I've got some Pokemon Arceus screenshots. I must put them side by side.
Even that game, like, that game was saved by its style because it's got this like watercolor style and it's got a really interesting setting. But it still looks bad.
The world, looked very bland still.
Very bland and very low res. And like, go back and play Sword and Shield. That game, fuck. Fuck.
It hurts you.
What's annoying is that it looks bad and it runs bad. Like, those open areas are awful.
Yeah,
like,
it's unoptimized. It's weird. Very weird.
They're so lucky that only children like those games.
Whatever, man.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Yeah, I'll have more to say on that next week for sure.
Very keen to hear more about that.
What have you
I've only touched a few games this week because it's been a busy week, and what time I have been spending playing games is again on a game I cannot talk about until next week, unfortunately. Which, I mean, at this point you can probably guess what it is, but I'm not allowed to say so.
Blink
but
twice
I did touch.
Spell it out with your eyelids.
Oh, wow. Morse code. Wow, I knew it was that. So I touched a few games on Game Pass because Game Pass got updated with a bunch of new stuff this week. Lots of actually some cool stuff. But of that, there was a game preview, so it's like early access for Xbox for a game called Turbo Golf Racing, which I could only play for about half an hour because it seems like no one's playing locally. So I kept getting paired up online with people from very far away, and that was unplayable because of all the rubber banding. So, but essentially, it's like Rocket League meets golf. You've got a little car, you've got a really big ball, and you've got multiple golf courses, and you've got to get the ball to the flag faster than anyone else. So you play concurrently with other people on the same course and see their balls and whatever. And I wish I knew if you could fuck with theirs, like mess up their route to the hole, but I don't know because I only played mostly the tutorial and that was alone. But it seems like a cool concept that I would like to play when maybe they've ironed out some online issues, because it's like you've got these sort of feel of a Rocket League. Like if you're in the air, you can glide. You find a bunch of power-ups on each golf course that can help you get the ball there. And you've got to like balance speed and accuracy because you can't just like go at this ball and hit it and then it goes way off course, or like, you know, knock it off course and then you've got to reverse and get back to it and stuff like that. So it seems like a neat idea that I would like to explore more when the game's maybe playable.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Sure.
Also on Game Pass, I played a game that I guess a lot of people have been speaking about for the past couple of weeks, Powerwash Simulator.
I love that this game is making waves.
So what's weird to me is that this game has almost got like a second win, because I remember it being big on PC a few months ago.
Yeah.
And then I think when it came to Game Pass, like more people picked it up.
Did it? But
it did launch on PC.
But did it not come out of early access recently? Like, I know it's been on PC for a while, but I think it officially launched like
maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
Listen, it's got a UI and menu system that is 100% suited more for PC than it is for console, because they do that thing where you've got like a fake mouse cursor.
I know.
And it moves so fast. It's so ridiculous. Like it's impossible to like accurately navigate these
to your
menus.
head, would you rather have the mouse cursor that moves too fast or too slow? Let's see.
Oh, in this game, I'll take it too slow because like part of the reason I need it is like often when I'm in a level and I'm looking through the list of things I need to clean, the menu just goes, it just like scrolls and I can't see shit. Like Anyway, so Powerwash Simulator is literally that in the name. You have one of those really high pressured water guns and you clean stuff, and you do jobs where your goal is to clean everything as well as possible, and you change nozzles on this like water gun, so you get like different degrees of nozzles, which trade off the spread of the water versus the intensity of the pressure.
Yeah.
So like some nozzles will be like a focused stream of water, which will take out the toughest dirt or rust or whatever, but can only affect a small area, while the wider nozzle can like do large swaths of an area, but it can only get the most basic dirt off things. It's a cool concept. It was one of those games where like 20 minutes in, I was like, wow, this is going to get boring fast. And then 2 hours disappeared. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what? It was literally like, I think I'm going to finish washing this shed and then I'm done, because I've kind of like done. And then next thing, like the garden that I was cleaning is like half cleaned. I was like,
it gives me such joy that this is the game that surprises people.
It's like, oh god, what is happening? Like, I do think it is a worse experience playing alone. There's co-op in this game, and it feels like a lot of the levels are designed for co-op because, boy, they're big.
Yeah.
Like, I think I've only played the first 2 levels, and the second level's like a garden, and I was there cleaning that garden for like an hour and a half, and I was only on 50% completion. I was like, this is too much. This is too much.
You gotta upgrade your nozzles, man. It's slowing you down.
It's because you have to be so meticulous. You're essentially pixel hunting for dirt in some cases. And there's just so much to clean. And you can progress. I can move on to the next level, but I want those 5 stars, you know. I want that money, because you use money from each level to like purchase upgrades, as far as I can tell. So yeah, I needed that money.
I haven't played the game yet, but I have heard from various sources that the game is satisfying for the simple reason that when you're done cleaning an object or area, you get a very satisfying ding of luck. It's done.
Essentially, yeah. So when you've cleaned most of a surface, it will like flash and come with like an audio cue and be like, cool, you don't need to touch this again. Like, it is clean, and it is that dopamine hit. It's very satisfying. And I think the sound effects of just water, they're done really well. Like, when they're hitting a flat surface, you can tell. And when it's hitting, like, say, a rail where some of the water's hitting the rail and the other water's like going over it, you can definitely tell. Like,
amazing.
They must have spent a lot of time mapping that out. I don't know. It's incredibly like audio satisfying. Visually, it's fairly basic, but yeah, it's fun. I've heard it described as a good podcast game. I would probably agree with that. Yeah. I think with friends, it would probably be great, because you'd get through the levels a lot quicker.
And you just speak
and you just talk shit, while cleaning stuff, and it's cooperative. You're not competing. So
what you're telling me is that the next podcast we record, we're going to play a power washing sim on the side. We just
while we podcasting. I mean, we probably could. It's so low brain effort. Like, you could probably do it and still keep a fairly riveting conversation while playing this thing. Although I'm pretty sure the sound of water constantly in your ear for 2 hours would get very irritating very quickly. That thing, whatever. I swear to God, that thing is destroying my controller battery life, because it's just vibrating. It's just like, you just like constantly like shooting out water for hours at a time, and that controller's just like, help me, free me from this pain,
please.
Please.
But it has been, just on Power Washing Sim as a whole, it has been amazing to watch the positive sentiment this game's been getting, because like, on paper, like you've just explained, you just washing stuff. And how do you sell that to somebody? If you tell me this game's about cleaning, I'm like, get out of here. Like, I hate cleaning in real life. Why the hell am I going to play a game about cleaning? Like, come on. But every person I know who's played this game, it's exactly what you said. Like, you think you're playing for like half an hour, you blink 3 hours ago, like, how did
it's
this
insane.
happen?
It's really insane. Like, I remember it was last night. So Shani was away for dinner. And I was just playing, and I was like, oh, you know, eventually she messaged me, and I was like, cool, I'll reply just now. I just want to finish cleaning this window. And then next time I looked at my phone, it was like last message 45 minutes ago. I was like, what the fuck?
The cops arrive like your girlfriend is just wondering if you're okay, because you haven't replied in 4 days.
It was wild. It hasn't been a long time since a game is like just blinked time away from my life like that. Like, and not because it was like, I am loving every single second of this. It's just I'm watching the screen, and all I'm watching is water, and all I'm doing is
It's just cathartic.
Next thing, time's just gone, like
Yeah.
absolutely gone.
Yeah,
So, I do not think my cats like the constant whooshing noise, though. It almost sounds like TV static after a while, like especially if it's coming out of like speakers and not your headphones. It's just like.
Yeah.
Like my neighbors must have been very confused.
They're like,
as to
oh my
what was
God, this
happening."
guy cleaning at 8 p.m. What's going on there? But
it's fun. It's cool.
Yeah,
It's one of those like I would never buy this game.
But it's on Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass. I downloaded it and I'm like, I'll probably boot it up again.
Good friend John Michael loves Powerwash. He's been advocating for this game
at all by that.
months now. But it's funny because also one of my other friends, Brad, picked it up because it's on Game Pass now. And he hasn't been playing Fortnite with us. And he's like, guys, I'm so sorry. I've been going home and playing Powerwash before bed every night.
It's soothing. It really is soothing. It's like I said, it's low brain like function gaming. You don't need a lot. You don't need to think about a lot. You start getting introspective with yourself. You know, like when you go on a run without headphones, you have to have a conversation with yourself.
Like,
it's that.
Yeah, that's
I have to live with my own thoughts now. I do think it would probably be better with a mouse though. Like with a controller, you lose some of that fine movement. But yeah, on a mouse and keyboard, it's got the most infuriating system for crouching. So you can stand, crouch, and go prone, but it cycles between them. So it's not like hold a button to go prone. It's like crouch first, then go prone. And then when you click it again, you'll come back to crouch and then back up to standing.
I don't know why it's so upset. I mean,
horrible.
It mimics real life. You don't go from standing to crouch in prone in 3 seconds. You've got to crouch
tell that to Solid Snake.
I mean, you want your Powerwash character to like dive on the ground because that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. I want to do a Call of Duty dolphin dive onto there. Just like, boop.
This character takes washing very seriously. Is there grime under that van? Dive.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. Like the very first level, there's a van that you need to clean, and I was like, this thing looks pretty clean. And then I went pro, and I'm like, oh no, this thing is dirty AF underneath here.
You look to the clients, you're like, this is far worse than I thought it was.
But I'm gonna need to charge you more.
I can make this better.
No, it's good. It's a good time. I do want to play it with other people because the levels are too big for a single person. I just think they're way too big, and then that just demotivates you from.
Does it have crossplay? I wonder.
It's a good question. I would assume a smaller game like this probably not, but maybe. I'm not sure.
Oh, whatever, man. I mean, you go to the code, you say crossplay equals 1. Don't lie. Game,
easy.
Game dev is so straightforward.
You know what the funniest part is? At the end, you get like almost like a super hot thing where it shows you the level, like in.
Oh yes,
it plays back the whole level. But like it's a time lapse of like a fucking hour and a half level. It's ridiculous. Like, how am I going to sit there watching this time lapse at like 10x speed?
Is it so? It's like a minute and a half.
It shows you in third person. It shows just like this very static man with moving arms and a power wash thing going around and power washing things.
I love that.
I would love to see the time lapse of a co-op one, just like seeing everyone running around power washing things.
So how many people can play total?
I think it's 4.
Oh my God.
And I wonder what happens. Can I power wash other players? Like,
these are the questions that keep us up at night.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's cool. It's on Game Pass. I reckon just fucking give it a go. Why not?
Nice.
Costs you a few giggle bites, as Darren would say.
Yeah. Not too big.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's games. A real large swath of genres there, from power washing to JRPGs.
To JRPGing. Mm-hmm.
We aim to please.
Cool.
Should we move on to
game releases?
Please. I should bring up that list.
Don't you worry, I've got that list here. We just got to scroll all the way down because we're getting closer and closer toward Christmas. Won't you know it? August. What are we looking at? Is it August 8th till what, like the 14th, I guess?
August 8th until, good Lord. No, it's August 6th today, not the 8th.
Oh, sorry, because we do it from, I thought we did it from the Monday.
Well, yeah, because I guess nothing is releasing now. But till the 12th. Yeah, correct. So I'm just reading here quite a few things. Oh, actually, yeah, quite a few things here that are pretty good. So first we got Tyrant's Blessing coming to PC on August 8th. We got Farthest Frontier, Steam Early Access PC, August 9th. One of the big games for this week, 2 Point Campus, coming to PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch, August 9th. Also coming to Game Pass. Been getting some pretty good reviews, so I'm quite keen to give this a go.
Nice.
Lost in Play, PC and Switch, August 10th. Pulling No Punches, PC, August 10th as well. Venaris Tactics, another tile-based game, I assume. PC, August 10th. Rumbleverse, this is the wrestling-based battle royale. PC, PlayStation, Xbox on August 11th. This looks pretty cool, I won't lie. And I think it's free to play as well. So,
nice.
Arcade Paradise, PC, PlayStation, and Xbox on August 11th. Big game for the week, Cult of the Lamb, PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch, August 11th. Very keen for this game.
Looks great.
Like a really nice, like evil management sim thing. Looks cool. And then a big one for PC players, Marvel Spider-Man Remastered, coming to PC August 12th.
Oh, Web Boy.
You can be Web Boy on the PC at 144 frames per second.
That must look real good.
Yeah, I mean, it looks fucking great on PC. So I think going at a high frame rate now, even on PS5.
Yeah, I was gonna say I watched Lenska play it like 2 months ago on PS5, and game's super pretty. So
yeah,
just double them frames on PC is even better. And that's it. I love that there's a game coming out next week called Fashion Police Squad.
Yeah, I've seen trailers for that game. I think it's like literally what you expect. You have to rate people on their fashion, and you're the fashion police.
Fashion police.
Also, Rollerdrome is coming out. That looks roller skating,
real interesting.
Shooting thing. Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Damn.
Yeah,
cool.
That's it for the week. Should we move on to gaming news?
I mean, game releases. Gaming news.
Gaming news.
What?
Limited stuff this week.
Should we headline with?
I guess we should start with Pokemon?
Pokemans. Where do
Pokemon.
Pokemon looks ridiculous. Is what
I'll say. So we've got another. They call what do they call it? Pokemon Presents. Hey, it's not like a direct.
It's basically like a Pokemon Direct though.
But it was mostly focused on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the big new generation games coming out later this year. We've got a nice write-up here by Jessica Howard on GameSpot on all the cool things that they showed. So first off, we've got Terra Types, which to me is just the easiest Swarovski crossover and Pokemon that you've ever imagined. It's like a limited number of Pokemon can go into like a Terra type, and they turn into literal crystals.
Like if you're watching the video, if you're listening and you cannot see the video, there's a Pokemon with a giant crystal on its head. Basically.
Yep. You get Pikachu like with balloons, so it turns Pikachu into a flying type.
I saw that further down.
Crystal.
Here you go.
Yeah. Essentially to restore Pokemon add a unique element to battles in that they change what Pokemon are effective against one another because it changes their types. So that could come in handy in some battles. Like suddenly you think you're fighting an electro type and now they change to flying.
They changed to crystal type, which is better than everything.
Yeah.
So
crystal beats everything. So yes. There's also going to be 3 separate campaigns, which you can decide to, choose as you progress through the game. There's your typical defeat all the gyms and the what is it? The Furious 4, Final 4, Fatal 4, the 4.
Fast in the Final Furious.
Fast in the Final 4. Then there are also 2 other journeys which haven't been revealed yet. So that's kind of cool, like breaking away from the standard gym and Elite Four setting. I think that could be neat, depending what the other two are. If the other two feel shitty, then
yeah.
Well.
But even that, choosing the 8 gyms in any order, I wonder if they'll just balance that in that every enemy you fight would just be your level or something. Like, because I don't know how else you would do it. You know, like you're not going to go fight the hardest gym leader out the gate because.
Well, they're saying you can. So the gym leaders don't scale.
They don't scale.
So you can fight them out of order, but they don't scale. So if you choose the last gym leader in the pack, like he'll just knock you on your ass. So I don't really understand what the point is of giving that
what's the
ability.
Point?
It's not like a Zelda where it's like, yes, you can take on Ganon's castle at the beginning, and that's like, yes, if your reflexes are fast enough. This is an RPG, it's numbers. Like the numbers are not in your favor.
But
you get hit once, you'll just
die.
But
even in Breath of the Wild, that was more thing of you could go to any of the 4 divine beasts. It's not like if you went to the fire one, like, oh, this is actually the high level one. What are you doing here? Like, you got to go get the other ones. I don't know. We'll see how this plays out.
Yeah. So elsewhere, we've got like some footage of the game's more school type setting, which looks pretty neat. There's some love here for Spree Gatito, which is the game's grass cat starter. Very cute. Definitely definitely
cute.
The best grass starter of all time.
Yep.
Come at me, Bulbasaur stands.
But Whopper Pooper. What the heck's going on here?
Yeah, so there's these new Paldine like versions of existing Pokemon, just like we got like I forgot what the other region was called, but essentially they take Pokemon you've come to know and give them a new like form.
Yeah.
So one of them is for Wooper, and now he's just brown, so people have affectionately called him Pooper.
But of course. Nice.
In previous games, you got like all-terrain vehicles, so you could go on water and stuff like that. In Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, like you'd get on a surfboard when you're in water, whatever.
Yeah.
Here, the Pokemon just turn into fucking motorcycles.
And they look dumb. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, they look real. So I think the biggest
yeah.
change here is that you get the legendary Pokemon right at the start of the game, and those are your means of transportation, which
That's
is a real
weird,
like 1-2 gut punch for the legendaries. It's like now you're kind of just getting gifted them as opposed to them being like a real end game
like a treat,
reward.
Like, wow, you've unlocked this legendary.
Yes, and now they look like stupid motorcycles.
So if you're watching the video, we've got the
Coryodon and
screenshot
Myriadon.
I've got the screenshot of the motorcycles here, and they I don't know. It's such a weird thing. What I don't like, so I don't have the video unfortunately, but there are 2 Pokemon, right? The Scarlet and the what's the other one? I've gone blank now. It's Pokemon. Oh,
Scarlet
Violet.
Yeah.
I don't know which one's which, but the one. So both Pokemon have wheels, right? Like they look like an actual bike, but side by side, when they show the footage of them riding along the road, the one's wheels actually turn, and the other one has wheels but still runs like it normally would and all falls. Why? It's so
unhinged.
Weird.
Absolutely
it's crazy.
Unhinged Game Freak designers right there.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know what's going
on. We alluded to Flying Pikachu earlier, so yeah, that's another Terra. What is it? Terra type.
Terra type, I think, yeah.
Terra type. Oh, we got the introduction of a new Pokemon, Fidough, which is a fairy type dog that is made of dough.
Fidough.
Is it Fidough? Are you sure? Not Fidough?
I think of Fidough was his name-o.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Look at this brilliant pun. Fi and then dough, like bread. Fi, dough. And then there's this brilliant tweet where someone says, guess you can say it's pure bread. It's an actual bread.
Would you eat a Fidough?
No. Maybe if it's delicious.
I would eat Fidough. I do like the question here on the names of the evolutions. Purebred, Donut. Love it. I love it.
I love this write-up though. Pokemon used to be simple. Game Freak used to spell snake backwards, paint a serpent purple and call it a day.
I mean, it's true. Ekans is just snake backwards.
Now we have chandeliers, trash piles, ice cream and more. And I think we're better for it.
I mean, we have sentient kid sandboxes that eat children as a Pokemon. Pokemon got fucking dark. We weren't expecting it.
Yeah. And then what's the last little point here?
Literally every character. Yeah, I think the character designs here look pretty good. I mean, the game visually, again, looks really bad, but I think the designs are pretty inspired. I think the designs for some of the gym leaders and for some of the two professors, pretty cool. Yeah.
So that's it. That's coming.
I do like Fidough though.
Fido's cool. Good. So yeah, this direct was really just another look at Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. It is out in November, I think.
Yeah,
so
I think it's November.
That's too much Pokemon
that's cool.
for me.
Listen, that thing is going to sell fucking well.
I know. That's
Pokemon
what upsets
fans
me.
are still going to love it.
It's because we have just too much Pokemon going around, but it's because they just sell so much. So,
but I just think that I think that the games could look better, and as someone who would like to get back into Pokemon, I wish they would make something that is a bit more, different from the current mold that they have.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
I hear you.
But yeah.
What other news should we look at?
You can choose the next one.
I suppose speaking of selling like hotcakes, Square Enix could be selling stakes in even more studios.
Ooh.
Square Enix is looking to devote more resources to its Japan titles and projects.
Yeah, so I guess this comes after they, sold off most of their Western studios like Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, et al. To the Embracer Group. So this is all good old Darren Bonethighs on GameSpot here.
Yep.
And according to games industry analyst Dave Gibson, the publisher will be reviewing its portfolio to see which studios it will want to retain full ownership of or offer stakes to other interested companies. So not fully selling them, just giving some control over to other companies.
Yeah.
As Gibson explained, Square Enix views the strategy as a way to devote resources mainly to Japan titles and could see interest from Sony, Tencent, and Nexon. So this is fascinating because like when they sold off all of their Western studios, the indication then was that Square Enix was slimming up its portfolio to make an acquisition easier, and that Sony was one of those people looking to acquire them. But this seems like the opposite. Like this seems like Square Enix being like, we are going to focus mainly on our Japanese studios and we will take offers on part ownership on other studios that we don't see as important to our portfolio.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure which studios this actually refers to though. Because like they sold off all of their Western studios, and if they want to focus on Japanese ones, then what does this leave?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
some of the studios that Square Enix currently has under its belt include the 4 creative business units responsible for Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, and smaller titles. Luminous Productions, which is currently developing Forspoken, and Tokyo RPG Factory.
Yep.
As Gibson noted, Square Enix's strategy is unusual as it has zero debt and more than enough operating cash to fund game development. So this definitely sounds like they are just looking for ways to offload studios so that they don't have to worry about them in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, I don't know how this will play out, but obviously if the studio is affected at all, but studios, but I mean, I could see Sony buying, stakes in Final Fantasy, for example, but I guess that's not what's on the table. It's weird. I don't know what they're actually selling.
It's strange. I think Square's just in a confusing space. They're putting out still like stellar games. Like I just think the business side of it is a bit like
it's weird,
scatterbrained at the moment by the sound of things.
Yeah. Well, I suppose.
Should we?
So news is a bit weird this week.
Speaking of scatterbrained, Beyond Good and Evil.
Has
so Beyond Good and Evil 2, depending on who you talk to, has either been in development for 16 years or for like 7 or something like that, or 5 years, sorry. Because the a sequel was announced in 2008, and then it was like never spoken about again for like almost 10 years. And then it was re-revealed in 2017.
I cannot believe that it was 5 years ago.
At E3. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
That demo then was like super cool. People were hyped and they were like, holy shit, this is actually happening. But since then, the game's creative director, Michel Ancel, has kind of retired from game development.
Yeah.
In early July, at a Q&A, Ubisoft confirmed that it still believed the game was on its way to being released, even going so far as listing Beyond Good and Evil 2 as an active development, so not like on the shelf. Just implies that work is being done. And now the game has a new lead writer. So a lot of people saw headlines of this and immediately were like, oh, the game only got a lead writer now? Like, it's like, no, that's not how it works. Like, they've just got a new lead writer. It just means there's someone leading that team. You know what I mean? So Sarah Arlano? Yeah, Arlano.
Yep.
Announced on Twitter that she'll be joining Beyond Good and Evil 2 as the project's lead writer. She previously worked as a narrative designer at Blizzard, writing for World of Warcraft, and most recently worked on the Saints Row reboot at Volition. So
which is out this month? So
yes, it is. August. Yeah,
I guess it'll also be a nice way to see. Is it? I mean, Saints Row is always wacky, but we'll see. I suppose it'll be interesting to see how the story / writing is in that game, because that's what she's just done. To me, this just tells me that this is far away.
It's
so far away. What makes me laugh is that this quote here. At a Q&A, Ubisoft confirmed that it still believed the game was on its way.
Still believes this is like yeah, we still think it's coming. We're just going to go chat to someone in the back room real quick.
It's your game.
Yeah. How do you not know? And it wasn't that long ago that some of the game's developers believed that it was just going to be cancelled eventually. So this is sounding more and more like a Skull and Bones thing, you know what I mean?
It's so weird. And it's another Ubisoft title, which is just strange. But
I think that weird. If this thing ever comes out, it's just not going to
but Ubisoft, so like I suppose we've spoken about this at Skull and Bones, but Ubisoft have this good track record of launching stuff that's okay and then making it real good, over time. But I'm talking multiplayer stuff predominantly. I don't know how Beyond Good and Evil 2 pans out, if it ever comes out. I don't know. It's weird.
It's weird. It's
yeah.
Good luck to the people like actually giving like their time to try and make that thing a thing. But I don't think there's much faith behind that right now. So which is a bummer because I think it had some good ideas. But yeah.
Speaking of things that don't have much faith, my faith in Gotham Knights is
tell me
don't
about
shoot
this.
me, Darren.
Yeah.
Don't shoot me. It looks okay. It doesn't look good though, which is
I never watched this, so IGN had 16 minutes up. Oh, the first 16 minutes of the game. Did you actually watch?
I've just scrubbed through it because like it's one of those things where this game needs to launch now. Like we're seeing too much of it.
Jeez, so much. My goodness.
There's just too much. I don't know. I've watched some of the gameplay and it looks fine. Like
it looks totally serviceable.
It looks like, Batman of 10 years ago, which is okay, but it's even that looked a bit, even Batman back then seemed way more fluid, if that makes sense. This seems kind of clunky and I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird. Just too weird.
They cancelled the last gen versions of this game to focus on current gen consoles. This game doesn't look like a current gen only game. Like visually, just doesn't look that impressive to me.
I mean, it looks. We're
watching
better,
Batgirl. Look at that stilted animation. It just looks like. I booted up Arkham Knight not too long ago again, primarily because of Darren's great video on its Batmobile. And that game fucking holds up,
looks good,
really well. Like it's an old game, you can tell, but like it's got more artistic vision, I think, than what's going on here.
What makes me laugh about this though is that I remember during the height of the Batman games, it was like you knew because I think it made headlines that there was one person whose only job was to animate the cape.
The cape, yeah.
So you best
For 2
believe,
years, only worked on the cape.
I'm looking at the cape and going, oof, it doesn't look that good.
Yeah, it doesn't look as good. It just doesn't look as good as a game that is now like 7 years old. At least from a visual standpoint. And like gameplay wise, I think the thing that bugs me is just the whole like, oh, it's a gear loot system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because it's 4-player co-op, it's like, the game has got to account for all of these different characters and their abilities as opposed to being like a really focused thing. I also just really hate how Red Hood can just do like magical double jumps in the air. I think it's silly. So
I hope it is good, but from these actual gameplay previews, I don't know. It feels like this game should have launched 5 years ago, and then it would have been like, wow, amazing. Today, it's like, I don't know.
I have it would be amazing if we get to launch and this thing is like, oh, yeah, it was just previewed back. Sort of how like Guardians of the Galaxy last year was everyone was like, holy shit, the previews for this game was so wrong. Like, this game fucking rules. That'd be great. But I just don't see anything here that is super exciting. So, yeah.
I mean, it was a cool finisher, but...
yeah.
You have little faith.
Listen, it just looks so generic at this point. Like, Anyway,
last bits of news: Microsoft begins insider testing for Xbox Game Pass.
This is cool and should be no surprise to how Xbox plans to continue growing Xbox Game Pass. So, yeah, it's busy being trialed in Colombia and Ireland right now. Users there can sign up for a family plan. And the trial version, as detailed here in this Eurogamer article, will enable anyone with a special insider preview Game Pass plan to invite up to 4 people to share that subscription, with each one then gaining unique access to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate's full selection of games, content, and benefits. So that means Game Pass and Xbox Live Gold. And I think Ultimate also includes PC, if I'm not
It does, yeah. It's console and PC. It's like it's their premium subscription.
Yeah, it's their premium offering, which is so in general that is per on an individual basis $15 a month if we were going to take it into like a dollar value thing. So there's already been articles which are trying to like derive the potential like conversion to dollars, considering that's only in Ireland and Colombia. And right now it's sitting at like this plan could probably cost $25 a month, which if you get 5 people involved means you're reducing the cost of Game Pass Ultimate from $15 to $5 or $60 a year, which is just insane.
Yeah.
Like that's just you're getting Game Pass Ultimate, which is all Xbox exclusives and the massive library of games for a year for less than what a single new game on PlayStation 5 costs, because all of their exclusive costs $70.
Yep.
That's insane.
It's crazy.
That's just really crazy to me, and just goes to show that Microsoft is really getting super aggressive with Game Pass in the wake of PS Plus, like not really hitting in the same way. I don't feel like people are talking about it. Sure, it's getting support from Sony, sure, but it hasn't made the splash that Game Pass did and still continues to do on a general, basis. So, yeah, I mean, when this comes out, which it will, I'm curious to see what the eventual final pricing is and
what Sony does.
Yeah, and what Sony does. I mean, how do they compete with that? Already from a individual plan standpoint, the price of PS Plus Premium was a bit lacking when compared to Xbox because it doesn't include day and date releases. Now, if you slash the price of Game Pass Ultimate by literally 66%, like holy shit, that now makes even less sense from a Sony perspective. And then you bundle that with the when the Activision Blizzard acquisition goes through, if it goes through, which it's looking like it probably will. You add into that Call of Duty, and like, what do you do like to compete with that? Like, if you have people who their only game purchase every year was Call of Duty, it's now even cheaper for them to subscribe rather to Game Pass because it's $60 a year as opposed to buying it outright for $70. Like,
Yeah, it's insane.
you can't compete with that. People they'll play on Xbox or on PC. So, yeah.
Microsoft doing some big things. I think this generation, it feels like they've really just been ticking all the boxes. And almost like effortlessly. Like they do it and it's just like, of course there's
they have the money
plan.
to take these big swings. And so far the swings have been hitting. So, yeah. Last bit of news, which is super weird. Like, I don't know what Assassin's Creed Valhalla is anymore, because there's going to be some Thanos and Iron Man skins in the game.
Eurogamer's Tom Phillips, the best with the headlines. So it looks like Assassin's Creed Valhalla is getting Iron Man and Thanos armor. Inevitable. Perfect.
His leads are real good.
Chef's kiss. Good. Love it.
This was kind of like data mined out of the game by a user called Andy Reloads. He already filmed some footage of him running around as Iron Man. It has a chest laser. So yes, it's Iron Man.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, there's a white version that almost looks like a stormtrooper, but it's still Iron Man. There's also another armor set called Master of Elements, where you have like infinity gauntlets that shine with the colors of the infinity stones. So, yeah.
So yeah, the headline does say, the article says Ubisoft is yet to announce either armor sets, and it's unclear whether these are a playful nod to Marvel or some sort of official collaboration. I'm going to say that that it has to be some sort of official collaboration, because if you have a playful nod, I feel like Marvel will come for you.
Yeah, no,
like,
definitely.
what are you doing with the Infinity Gauntlets in your game, huh?
You can't just be like, oh, this is kind of the same, but kind of not. Like, no, I think it's an official thing.
Disney will be like, listen, we're gonna sue your ass.
Meet our lawyers. You think the Infinity Gauntlet is powerful? You ain't seen shit.
What? This article says, I'm reminded of a similar brand crossover with Final Fantasy 15 that got added for free into the Ancient Egypt set Assassin's Creed Origins late into its life.
Yep. This happened. You could get a camel.
I remember that.
Like
you could get a chocobo. I mean, okay.
And it was very weird because it just appears in the game. Like, it's very strange. And then you could fight with Noctis's like sword in the game, which is very powerful.
That's so weird. Well, there you go. That's gaming news this week. Iron Man and Thanos and Assassin's Creed. No one. If you bet on that happening, enjoy your billions.
Would be a billionaire right now. Yeah. My God.
My goodness. Cool.
Should we move on to questions for the week? If you want to send us a question, you can email us checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on all of our social platforms at Checkpoint Chat, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. Send a question whenever the hell you want. You want to send one right now? That's cool. Totally be read next week.
I'll be read next week, yeah.
What do we got on the docket for today?
We have two little questions. So I'm just pulling up. So let's start with this one from @JaredBrah, who says,
Brah.
Hey guys, and then asks, what feature in games would you like to see more often? Also, what
features in games? What features?
And then also, what about gaming would you like to be more common? Says, for me, RGB everything.
Oh, good Lord. What do you mean more common? That is the most common.
That's the if you wanted today, you could build a new, so let's just get that out the way quick. Okay, you could go build a new desktop setup where the insides of your computer all RGB lit. That's cool. Your keyboard RGB, your mouse RGB, your headphones RGB, but also your chair can have RGB, your mouse pad can have RGB, your screen can have RGB. Like, what more do you want? It's there. It exists.
Yeah. No, literally there's RGB mouse pads now. There's RGB for your SSDs.
For your RAM.
It's wild out here.
Hold on. You get RGB power supplies as well, which is...
That's true.
Which is the most ridiculous thing ever, but cool.
I'm pretty sure we're covered on the RGB front. Like, every streamer's sort of setup is just RGB laden. So
everything,
yeah. I think we're good on that. I don't know, maybe an RGB toilet seat cover. Don't blink at me like
an RGB pillow.
Happen. RGB, yeah, exactly.
A nightlight.
The most restful way to sleep.
Little Timmy. Says, Dad, I'm scared of the dark. So don't worry, Timmy.
I've seen
you'll put your
RGB
pillow
rings on microphones for streamers as well.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Little RGB ring there. So
RGB it's too much. We don't need more. No more RGB. But
there's so much. You know what we do need? We need, and I mean, there is a program that does this sort of called Signal, but we need a better standard for a single program that just governs all RGB on your system, because I fucking hate having Corsair RAM and an MSI motherboard and like a fractal design case, for example, and all of them cannot communicate correctly with each other. Like you need like 3 bits of software to link them up, or you need to like get a single bit of software and then it's very limited in the signals it can send to all of them, or it's not super user friendly. We need just better supports on that front, just to make, if I want all my RGBs to link up correctly, without having to take an hour out of my day to figure that shit out, that'd be great.
Yep. But now, what feature would you like to see, or what gaming feature would you like to see in more games? So I'm guessing,
I immediately thought of when you're playing games, and I can't believe this isn't common, but when you're playing games in co-op with people, like shared progress, karaoke.
Oh my God. That's it's the dream.
So I was watching a video the other day on how Halo Infinite deals with co-op, and they actually do a really good job of this. Like your co-op session is stored in a save file that then can be accessed solo or co-op in the future. So your story progress is always saved.
Yeah.
It's not like, only the host keeps the story progress, which is like sadly the most common way of doing things. I think Back 4 Blood did this. There was another game recently, another co-op game, where it was like, only the host retains that content. Like you, in games where you do like loot stuff, you still retain your loot, but you still have to go back and play those story missions again if you were not the host. And that's just fucking crazy to me. Like that just means you're either playing with the same party with the same host all the time, or you're playing it single player. Like you cannot intermingle the two.
You know who else does it very well, weirdly enough, is Monster Hunter Rise.
Really?
You could 100%. I mean, you'd obviously have to tick off some of the single player stuff to get to the multiplayer stuff. But for all intents and purposes, you can 100% get through all of those multiplayer quests with a full party and keep your progress. It just moves. You all get hunter rank. You all tick off the quest on the quest board. It's not like, okay, like you got to go back and do it in my session of the game now, just so I get the progress. And like, I guess it depends on the game, right? But it just works in this game. Why can it not work in other games? I mean, a good example is in this expansion. So, you get a thing called Hunter Rank and Master Rank, which obviously just shows, how much time you put into the game. And certain things are tiered off. So you can only do some hunts after hitting like Master Rank 10 or 20, for example. And when you hit those ranks, higher level quests unlock. In this game, much to my surprise, there were times when I, for example, was like, oh, guys, I haven't unlocked that quest yet. It's like, I'm not that rank yet. Playing with people who are high rank. And they're like, no, well, we can post it to the quest board, see if you can do it. And they did, and I could do it. And what happens is that when those quests unlock for me, they're already ticked off because I've done them with my party. And I'm like, that's really cool. Capcom out here nailing the multiplayer and Monster Hunter, which is...
That's the fun. That should be the fundamentals. And yet it's like the exception to the rule, which is insane to me, especially like in games like Back 4 Blood. Like Back 4 Blood, the whole idea of that game is co-op.
Yeah.
And like, sure, that usually then means that you're going to be playing mostly with other people. But like, if you change to someone who now is a different host and they have less story progress, it's like crazy that I can't be like, oh, well, I did this mission yesterday, so we can actually start off here. It's like, no you can't, because you're with the host.
Yeah.
Like,
you gotta swap out.
Insane.
It's crazy.
Me. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to pretend to know the technical difficulties that arise, with trying to get that to work. But like, it is possible in other games, and it is a much better co-op experience when you have that sort of support. So I think if you're baking in co-op support from the get-go, that should be like a consideration you take into account from the get-go.
Yeah. One thing I will
What's
say,
the one
it's not
feature? Yeah.
it's not something that I wish to see. It's something that's happened, which wasn't a thing a few years ago. It's just crossplay. It was like, I mean, I'm thumb sucking, but let's say 5 years ago, that was just a pipe dream of, Sony saying, no, we can't do it because technical difficulties, blah, blah, whatever. Fast forward to today where most, if not all games, not all games, but most games have crossplay, which is just really cool. So in Fortnite, I can play on PC with my friend who's on Switch with another friend who's on PlayStation. And it just works seamlessly. There's a single voice chat. That wasn't a thing.
There's now even Discord in some cases.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting at, is that like I'd like to see Discord become available, but I mean it seems like that's kind of going to happen in the near future. Just because that is the only barrier. Is like, well, how do we talk to each other if the game doesn't have in-game comms?
if it and then often the in-game comms were just bad. So like even if you had in-game comms, it was always like you always had like either like a party chat on Xbox or you had to rely on like in-game chat for cross-platform play, and usually that was just not ideal. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think crossplay is so common now. It's almost like a thing where it's like weird if a game doesn't launch with it. Like I know a recent example is like F1 2022 didn't launch with crossplay, but they putting in crossplay like this month. And it's like the first time in the series' history, and it's like, well, that's weird. That should have happened ages ago. You know what I mean?
And it just makes sense. I mean, it benefits everyone. Like, all of a sudden, if you've got 1 million players on PlayStation and 1 million on Xbox, the player base becomes 2 million. You've got a pool of 2 million people to matchmake and do things with. It's like, it just makes sense. Like I was explaining to Lenska, again, in the context of Fortnite, if each platform has 10 million players, just for whatever sake, you're actually matching up against 50 million players, which is why it happens so quickly. You can get in and out of games like super quick. It's
exactly. And I think at the beginning the concern was always like, ooh, how's it going to work with competitive play, keyboard and mouse versus controller? But most games have figured that out by now, where they just allow you to opt into certain hoppers. Like, do you want the crossplay hopper? Do you want a hopper that is only with players with your control scheme? And that can be across platforms. It can be even on PC, someone playing with a controller, or someone on Xbox playing with a mouse and keyboard, because that's supported as well. And they've just figured that stuff out. Like, and for a lot of games, like if you're playing like a Forza Horizon, or you're playing like a Multiverses, like that doesn't even equate. Like everything's being played with a controller, or the competitive differences don't exist. So like crossplay just makes so much sense.
Cool. Thank you for that question.
I'm glad we got over that hurdle of like Sony being like, this is technically infeasible, and it turns out they were just trying to find a way to monetize it. So
Sony, why you like this? And then we have one last question from Megs, who asks, which, I'm going to butcher this, which AIO liquid cooler would you suggest I get for my Ryzen 3600? I do not like much RGB features, just performance. Max I'll pay is 2,500.
So I can, so an AIO is an all-in-one water cooler. That's what it stands for. It's basically the water coolers that you buy from Corsair or NZXT, or instead of doing a custom loop pose, I would counter offer by saying a Ryzen, what was it, 3600X?
No, just 3600.
3600. I would say even the 5600, because I've got one right here. Neither of those chips need to be water cooled. I think the only ones that actually need to be, even then, I don't even think so, but the only chips that really, really, really need a super good water cooler now, like your Intel 12 900K, which just run hot even on the best A coolers. The thing is, AIOs have a lifespan on them. The pumps fail within 2 to 3 years in general. So you're going to replace them eventually. And because they're all-in-one solutions, you cannot just replace the pump. You'll have to replace the whole unit. So that's mostly why I've moved away from AIOs. I used to use them exclusively because, yes, they're quiet. and they do a very fantastic job of cooling your components, but their failure rate is too high. You can get really fucking great air coolers for A, much less money, and B, they perform just as well, if not in some cases better. So my suggestions, because we actually have local stock of them now, is Noctua. Noctua is probably the leading brand in very, very silent performing fans and just extremely good air cooling. So that's what I'm running on my PC now. But you can get a Noctua NH12 US, which is, I think, like a smaller tower cooler. And then you get the D15, which is like their beefy tower cooler. And that thing is good enough to tame like Intel's extremely hot chips at the moment. So your Ryzen chip will be like running super, super cool. And they are whisper quiet. They do not ramp up very fast. They do a very excellent job of routing heat. And if you've got space in your case, then do that. Obviously, if you're running like a ITX case, you're going to have to do water cooling. You can't fit these tower coolers in there. And in that case, I would say your good bets are like a Corsair or NZXT, or I think we get EK water block AIOs here. To me, AIO coolers are all pretty much the same. They all perform pretty much on par with one another, and they all have very similar failure rates. So, yeah.
Take from that what you will.
You can get an air cooler now. I know Jeff, he upgraded to Intel's 12700K recently, and he got an air cooler from a brand called Scythe, which is a really good, like, but not budget, but like they're cheaper than Noctua, and their performance is nearly on par. And I think the cooler he got for that chip, and that chip runs extremely hot, was like 1,000 Rand. And it's like quiet and it does the job. Like, why are you spending $2,500 on an AIO that will do the exact same thing and fail in 2 years?
Yeah.
These things don't. They're just towers of heat sinks. And if anything, maybe the fan fails. You replace the fan. A fan is like 400 Rand.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, I would heavily suggest looking into Scythe and Noctua. We have, I think, Wootware and Reveltech stock them respectively. Yeah, I would take that over an AIO any day of the week.
Yep. Well, there you go.
Sorry, that Matthew just glazed over that entire conversation.
I was just like
fucking AIO cooler. What? I think you have a water cooler, don't you?
I just got
you have an air cooler.
Basic bitch air coolers in my shirt.
Love to see it.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. Who's having a bath right here?
Oh, love to see a good Luna cameo at the end of the podcast.
Eating her nails. Ooh, she pulls them. She goes, that's so irritating.
It's good. At least she takes care of them. I have to take my fucking kittens to the vet to,
really?
You know. Yeah.
Hilarious. Well, there we go.
My goodness.
There we go.
Okay.
Episode.
That has been questions for this week. If you would like to send us a question, you can email us to checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com. You can also message us at Checkpoint Chat on all of our social platforms.
Even TikTok.
And TikTok. And we'll then read your question next week. And that's been another episode of Checkpoint Chat, episode 196. As always, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for your support.
Like and subscribe.
Please subscribe
to our Patreon. Thank you.
Please rate us if you can on any platform wherever you're listening. And we appreciate all your support as always. And we, as always, will see you next week. Next week.
197.
Until then, goodbye.
Goodbye.